stop putting the things you want in life in the later pile. There's a trap I grew up watching other people live inside of, and it changed how I now approach decision making in my own life. And I call one aspect of it the when then approach to happiness. So when I pay off the debt, then I'll enjoy my money. When I move to a bigger place, then I'll start hosting people. When I save enough, then I'll start the business. When my schedule clears up, then I'll go to therapy. You're I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down. And then there's the sister or cousin companion to it, which I call the if then approach to happiness. So that's like, if I lose the weight, then I will start buying clothes I actually like. If I make six figures, then I'll feel free. If this project goes well, then I'll allow myself rest. And essentially, these are two versions of the same trap. Happiness is either conditional or deferred, and it's always coming after the next thing or in the next chapter. And it's never in the here and in the now. And I think that what makes these approaches and these models so hard to catch is that they genuinely feel responsible. I think they disguise themselves as being mature, as being practical, as having your priorities straight. And I think that's exactly why so many of us live in inside of them for many years without realizing it. Because it doesn't feel like self-abandonment. It feels like being a responsible adult at the end of the day. But what I have observed over the years is that when someone puts off what they actually want because they believe that there will always be a better time, or because they believe that there will always be a more appropriate, suitable season to go after what they desire, the when will arrive, but the then doesn't materialize. And the dream that they have, the desires that they have get dusty. Sometimes they even wonder if it's realistic and if they're even allowed to have those desires and those dreams because they've just gotten so far removed from them. And when I've watched that happen, and even when I felt it in my own life, I just realized I don't want this to be how I live life, and I don't want this to be my story. So I started to make different choices, and some of those choices were leaving jobs that weren't for me, traveling, starting projects without having all of the answers, saying yes to opportunities um, without the conditions being perfect. And I will be honest in saying that sometimes I get pulled back into that pattern. But the cool thing is that I notice it faster, and that I feel more confident in my ability to course correct and know that I am kind of punting my happiness into the future instead of feeling empowered to access it now. And I think what I really the reason I wanted to make this video, and I guess the message that I really wanted to share, is that the conditions are never going to be right, like ever. That's just not how life works. The perfect moment isn't coming. And what you have, what I have, what we have is this moment and this moment only. As messy, uncertain, and inconvenient as it is. And the question I think we would all benefit from asking ourselves is whether we're going to keep waiting for a potentially better moment in the future, or we're going to seize the moment that we have now and take this moment and act and take steps towards what it is that we desire. My biggest fear is having lived a life full of sacrifices, regrets, and dreams that have gotten dusty and stale, so stale that I've forgotten what they even were. And that's just not the life that I'm choosing for myself. And to be honest, that's not the life that I want for you either. Because I do think that each and every one of us has a later pile, and we're carrying stuff in there, whether it's a dream, a decision, a trip, um, a an idea, a conversation, just a promise that we have made to ourselves that we've been meaning to keep and haven't gotten around to it because it's it's based on something outside of us happening, a condition being met, a milestone being reached. And for some of us, we have things in our later piles that have been there for so long, we can barely even see them anymore. So I want to ask you, what is it that's in your later pile? And what have you been telling yourself you'll get to when you have more money, more time, more freedom, more certainty, more permission? And when you hit the next milestone, what is going to happen then? Is the goalpost going to move, or are you really going to do the thing? And I think one other question I want you to think about is, what if what if now, as uncertain and imperfect as it is actually the moment to do the thing that you want to do? So drop it in the comments, any answers you have to, I don't know, the wild amount of questions I just asked you. But I really want to know what resonates with you in this message, and what has been sitting in your later pile, and when you're going to make a change and decide to take the leap. So thank you for watching this video. As always, I will see you in the next one.